From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Chris Terrell Podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrell, and welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you experience, and what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now, don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down again. And then I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and systems of belief. I decided to change my actual life, the whole thing. Why? Because I was done taking round-trip tickets to Thinville. I wanted to take a one-way trip ticket and find myself there forever. And isn't that what you're wanting to do yourself? You know, it's funny when we say we failed at weight loss. Many of us, if we look to our past, we'll see we actually lost a lot of weight. So did we fail at weight loss? I guess not. And yet, why do we say that we failed? The reason why we say that we failed is because we did not change. We got to the other side, we lived the life we lived before, and we gained every pound back. Sometimes a little bit more just for our troubles. And that leaves us feeling like a failure. That leaves us feeling stuck. Welcome to another week of the podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about this stuck feeling, about what I did to change, and I'm going to give a little, let me get the admin stuff out of the way, and let's just jump into it. Rather than me telling you about what I'm going to tell you, why don't I just tell you what I'm going to tell you? But first, if you are not part of my free Facebook group, head on over to christerrellcoaching.com, where you can find a link to that to join, as well as in the show notes of the podcast. You can join the free Facebook group. For anybody that listens to the podcast, you're going to love that community. It's a great community dedicated to helping you lose weight in a sustainable and forever way. And if you are interested in joining my group program, the Guild of Champions, head on over to theguildofchampions.com, where you can learn more about the program. All right. Have you gained your weight back ever in your past? Have you gained your weight back now? Have you found yourself gaining weight? You know, I was having a conversation with somebody recently who's regained weight. And for many of us, weight regain is a part of our story. As much as I wished it wasn't, me gaining my weight back was necessary because there were lessons I needed to learn from it. I wished I didn't need to learn the lessons from it, but apparently I did. And I was having a conversation with someone who had gained it back. This person said some things like, I eat when I feel defeated, and I eat when I feel alone. I eat when I feel stress all day. I eat when I know I have to change. Gosh, that's tough. It's a tough spot to be. I've been there. You know, where you feel like you have no self-control, where you feel the shame and the remorse and the regret of the weight regain. You wake up today. Today's the day. I'm going to change. I'm going to do it. And then the stress of the day shows up. Starts to grate on you. The old thoughts start showing up, like, go get the food. You know, you see your old triggers. You got the foods in the cabinet, and next thing you know, you're trying to talk yourself out of getting the food because you've pretty much already decided you're going to, and now you're just trying to hold off. You're going through the phase of pre-gret. Then you're moving into that place where finally that permissive thought shows up. And there you go. Taking it away. You got the green light. And then this conversation, a person was asking me, Chris, I don't understand. You say you were where I was. How did you do it? I don't see how to get from where I am to where you are. And I really had to ponder on that. I went away and I thought about that. I was like, I want to answer this person. And I want to read to you what I said. I think this will be important for you. This is what I said. I changed. I was successful in my changing by recognizing that eating has solved zero problems and has only created more. I managed to change by realizing I have self-control and that I've always had it. And in fact, I've been using my self-control to turn to food and to provide an endless string of justifications for why I am powerless to stop. I lost it all by ceasing to accept my justifications for why I am powerless. I chose to believe that the ability to stop myself is within my control. I chose that. Because if it's not in my control, then that means I'm a lost cause. And I refused to accept that I was a lost cause. I was done believing that, even though I had believed it for a long time. I chose to stop feeling guilty for how I chose to live my life. I stopped beating myself up because I chose short-term gratification over long-term gratification. I chose to forgive myself for making all the mistakes in my past. I chose to only focus on what I'm going to do in the here and the now, and I chose to stop worrying about the past or about the future that isn't even here yet. All of this happened because I was ready to get new results in my life. The reality was, I was finally at a place where I was ready to sacrifice who I had become so that I could become who I wanted to be. I was ready to change. I wasn't ready to change my behaviors quite yet, though, in the beginning. What I was ready to change is how I thought. When I changed how I thought, interestingly enough, not too much longer after, my behavior began to change as well. Because I had consciously realized for the first time in my life at 34 years old that no action that I take ever happens without a thought having preceded it. A thought always precedes my actions. Now, the thought and actions are not always right next to each other. Sometimes they're separated by years. But every action I took came as a result of my thinking. I had finally decided to tap into my courage and face my fears and my guilt and my shame. Look at them, own them, and then let them go. And move away from them forward towards the life that I want and that I deserve. I stopped believing I needed to do anything to deserve it. I just deserved it because I was alive. For me to do all this, I got a divorce. I quit my job that I had been at for almost 20 years. I moved to a different state. I sold most of my possessions. I downsized my entire life to almost nothing. I took away everything that was important to me so that I could see that in the end, not a single bit of it mattered. That no matter what you took from me, I was always still there. No matter what I took from me, I was always still there. No matter what happened to me, I was still there. No matter how much success I had, I was still there. No matter where I went, I was there. No matter how much I had with me, there I was. No matter how little I had with me, there I was. No matter how much I knew where I was going, there I was. And it didn't matter how lost I felt. There I was. None of the stuff in life really mattered, I discovered, if I am miserable on the inside. And if I can find a place, if I can become peaceful and joyous on the inside, well, then none of that outside stuff matters anymore. Ironically, once I cared less about the stuff outside of me, it seemed the easier that stuff flowed to me. In a weird twist, it seemed the law of the universe is that I must want it less for it to come easy. All that matters, I realized, all that matters is the realization that I want to live. I want to be alive. I want to experience life. I realize I love living. I'm not a body. I'm not my body. I have a body. And if I take care of this body, I get to live a more full and vibrant life, filled with more experiences. If I take care of this body, I will get to make more memories, newer memories. I woke up one day and realized I had built for myself a prison, and this prison was called my body. And I was ready to get out of that prison, to let go of that body. However, that meant I must adopt new lifestyles. I needed to change my habits, create new routines. I had to look at my environment and make a lot of changes. And my community, well, most of it needed to be swapped out. But most importantly of all, I must change my belief systems. I must think something and then, as the phrase goes, change my mind and now think something else. As you go through this, as I went through this, it will bring many, many emotions. Through this process, I had to learn that all of my emotions are okay. There are no good emotions, nor are there bad emotions. There are just emotions. Some of them are quite unpleasant to experience, and some of them are very pleasant to experience. But they're all worthy of experiencing because they all mean one thing. I am alive. Being a human comes with many emotions that we get the privilege of experiencing. Only humans experience emotions the way we experience them as humans. The only humans that experience zero emotions are the dead ones. And I would very much like to not be one of them for a while. Of course, whenever my time comes, then it comes. But I am not looking to hasten that day. So if you want to change, you don't need to track your calories. You don't need to find the perfect diet plan. You don't need to find the perfect workout regimen. Because whatever you do, you're going to end up changing it anyway. Because there's no one-size-forever solution for anyone. For you to change in a lasting way, it's going to come down to a very few simple things. And when you can do them, you will make it. Number 1, resolve within yourself that under no circumstances will you eat unless you're hungry or unless you consciously choose to do it. This will be challenging, and you will experience failure much like I did, which will require you to extend compassion, grace, and forgiveness to yourself over and over and over again. Number 2, stop eating before you feel overly full. This is going to take much practice to learn. You will not know right where that point is. It will require a lot of trial and error. If you are serious, if you are committed, you will use every time you eat a meal as an opportunity to practice the stopping point once more. You'll walk away knowing you could eat a little bit more just to see what happens. A professional of weight loss is someone who is serious about taking care of their body. And a person who is a professional of weight loss will not be actively looking for an excuse to take days and weeks off of learning about themselves. That's what amateurs do. If you don't do it every day, you're not a professional. Number 3, move more in your life. It does not matter how much you're moving in the beginning. You just need to move more. How much more? More than you are now. Until your weekly volume of steps has exceeded 7,000 steps a day as an average, you're not even at your baseline yet. If you are starting from far below that line, maybe only averaging 1,000, 1,500 steps a day, well, it might take you several months to get yourself to the level of 7,000 steps a day. It might take you 6 months of persistent and consistent effort, showing up for yourself day in and day out. This will be tremendously humbling because you will be taking sometimes insultingly small steps forward, hearing the other voice saying, well, you should be able to do more. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you as good as this person? Why are you so lazy? Why don't you just give up? It's no use anyway. You will more than likely hear that voice a time or two as you are ramping up. You will have to tap into your courage. You will have to face your own self-doubt, sometimes day in and day out, until you arrive and you can look to that voice and say, I guess you were wrong. I guess I could do it. Where else are you telling me I can't do it when in fact I can? Where else am I holding myself back because I've allowed myself to be limited by my own self-doubt? If you work on your steps every single day, every single week, you will get there. It will not be a matter of if. It will only be a matter of when. And this leads us to number 4. You must begin to get sufficient quality and quantity of sleep every day. I had made the mistake of solving many of my problems in life by giving up sleep, not realizing how much this was compromising me. You should be getting between 7 and 9 hours a night of good quality sleep to ensure that you are at your best. If you are sleep deprived, you are solving your problem handicapped. You are tying one or both of your arms behind your back and trying to solve your problem. You will already be coming from behind the 8 ball, so to speak. Let's not make it worse by compromising your sleep. Make sure you are mentally ready to tackle the day because you must go after your hunger. You must learn about it. You must extend yourself self-compassion. And if you are emotionally compromised due to a lack of sleep, this will be harder. If you are not getting that much sleep right now, today, it might take you several weeks or maybe even many months to begin to improve the quality and duration of your sleep. Just like with the steps, you will make insultingly small steps forward towards a more full and rewarding night's sleep. Give yourself the grace that is necessary and give yourself the gift of time, otherwise known as patience with yourself, to get to where you need to be. And last, number 5, you must fully immerse yourself in the pursuit of your goal. You must fully immerse your mind in what you are doing. If you take a week off, you sacrifice mental momentum that could be helping you get to where you need to go. If you keep checking out all the time, your subconscious mind listening in goes, I guess it's not very important. Let's go think about other things. You must always be consuming content into your mind that is in alignment with the goal that you want to have. Now, this content could be in the form of a podcast like this one. It could also be in the form of a conversation. Perhaps someone that has done what you would like to do. We call them models. You can go and talk to them and have them download their ideas, their beliefs, their lifestyle, their habits, their routines to you onto a piece of paper where you can look at them and decide, I think I'm going to integrate this. I think I can shift the way I do something to that. Do whatever it takes to ensure you are working on your mindset and learning about weight management every single day. Every single day. Listen to an episode of this podcast every single day to keep your mind set. Keep your mind in the right place. To keep your mind aligned towards your goal because hard times are coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And if your mind is not right when that happens, you are as good as sunk. You won't need every bit of information as you are given it. There will be many things you will learn as you go, and you will tuck it away for later use. There will also be many bits of information that will arrive to you just as you need them, because it will only be as you need them that you knew to ask the question necessary to obtain the information. You will not need every bit of information all at once, but you will need it all over time, and you won't know when you need it till you need it. So proactively acquire knowledge and information to help you on your journey for when you need the information. But do not let the pursuit of information prevent you from taking action today with these steps. Once you have completed all these steps, you then will find that you have begun to change. It will have been slow. You won't be able to put your finger on it. You'll look at your life and go, I used to only get 1,000 steps a day, and now I'm getting 10,000. How did I get here? There wasn't a single moment that this happened, and yet I am definitely not who I was. You should be having this, who am I, feeling. That is what is required to change. If you want to change your thinking, I'm about to wrap up the podcast. I would like to invite you to pause and rewind and listen to it once more, because you will find that there are ideas that I have said that your mind missed because I said something and it triggered your mind to flutter away, to go on another little thought pattern that you needed to go down, but you missed what I said. And I assure you, every episode that I said to you today matters. So if you are serious, go ahead and listen to this once more. And if this is your second run through, well, maybe a third time, some other time. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Do not give up on your goal. Work every day in pursuit of that which matters to you, and live your life on your terms, not by anybody else's. And don't let yourself be limited by the limitations placed upon you by others or by your own self-doubt. It will always be the first time when it's the first time. And just because you've never lost all the weight and kept it off before, that doesn't mean the first time isn't coming.